So you've decided to sell on Amazon and you might even know where to begin. However, understanding the entire Amazon FBA process before you start could be the difference between failure and success. That is why in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you the entire Amazon FBA timeline that is going to save you time, money, and stress. And if you're new to this channel, welcome. My name is Hobart. My husband and I are seven-figure e-commerce sellers. And in this channel, we share our top tips, tricks, tutorials, and so much value. So be sure to subscribe. Before we dive into the timeline, I just want to say that the estimated durations for each step of the process are just that. There are estimates. It is possible to complete that in less time, and it's definitely possible that it's going to take you longer in some of these stages. So don't worry too much about that. And also, don't worry about copying everything or taking screenshots. You can find a link to download the entire timeline in the description below. So let's get started. Phase number one is product research. The truth is, without a good product, all of the other steps are going to be a waste of time. So considering you're going to be an Amazon FBA private label seller, product is key. And if you're just starting off, picking your product first could actually help you direct with your branding and trademark and so on. So to actually get started on this first. So take about 21 days or 3 weeks to go through multiple product research strategies. While you're doing this product research, you're actually going to start contacting suppliers. So as you can see, a lot of the stages of this timeline are going to start overlapping. So you're not done with your complete product research yet, but you're already starting to introduce the next phase of Amazon FBA. So make sure to keep an eye on those vertical lines for you to see when something should start on the next phase of Amazon FBA, even though you haven't entirely finished the top one yet. So for example, right here, you're still going to be going through the multiple product research strategies. And at the same time, you're going to dive in to Alibaba or just finding suppliers, however you prefer, to request quotes, to look into certifications, patents. Because if you think about it, you can just okay, I'm going to go with this product. This is the winner. And then once you dive into it, let's say it's patented or it's very expensive for your budget. So there needs to be that cycle of checking on it and then continue to do your product research. So you're gonna go through that. And then as you start establishing, okay, this product is looking really good, back on the product research, you're going to start the competitor analysis or the product development phase with surveys, with market research. You're going to analyze your competitors' reviews so you can start planning how you're going to differentiate your product. And then during that phase on product research, you're going to be going back and forth with the supplier or suppliers that you're communicating with to really get accurate quotes based on the specific customization that you want based on your competitor analysis. So you can see that all this happens at the same time. Then you're going to continue your competitor analysis as you go through samples. You can expect about 3 weeks for this. That accounts the time to communicate with suppliers back and forth about the specific details, as well as them creating the sample and shipping it to you. And it could take longer if you need multiple samples. Let's say the first set of samples, you still can't really make a decision or on which supply you want to go with, or you want to make changes. So this definitely can vary. And during that sample phase, you're still doing competitor analysis because you want to make sure your product is going to be better than your competitors. So once you're through the sample phase and before you start production, during that time, you're actually going to start thinking about setting up your account, your brand, and running the numbers. So while you're thinking about samples and you're getting accurate quotes, you can start thinking about your brand. Open your Seller Center account, open an LLC, get all of the banking details. That will take about 2 days. You might have to verify your account, so it might take a little bit longer. Then a few days to get your branding trademark as well as brand registry. I would highly recommend that you get brand registered as soon as possible. And you can do that with just the trademark number once you apply for trademark. So you actually don't need to wait until your trademark is active. You can apply to be brand registered on Amazon before. And here in the channel, we already have a full tutorial on how to get brand registered on Amazon. So you can check that link in the description below. So, okay, you're establishing all of your branding as you're going through samples and you're waiting for the suppliers. And you may want to wait. Let's say you're still uncertain that you're gonna go with that product. You may wanna wait a little bit before you do that. That is okay, but you can also get started on that. Then during the samples phase, before you pay your suppliers to start production, you need to make sure that you do 2 things. One, you purchase a UPC code from GS1. We have a video about that as well, and the link will be in the description below. And you're going to be creating your dummy listing. Now, what does that mean? You want to make sure that there are no red flags about selling that product on Amazon. Obviously, you would have done already your research on the certifications, patents, and everything, but you want to really be certain that that is not a restricted product, that Amazon doesn't have any issues with that product. So you don't go through the production phase and then find out you can't really sell that product or there are more barriers than you thought. So create a dummy listing. For that, I would recommend that you have the title pretty well figured out. In other videos here in the channel, we explain why that's going to play into your URL and you want it to optimize well. But create a dummy listing, just put placeholder text on everything else, bullet points, everything, just to make sure you're good to go. And before you start production, you must confirm your profits. So make sure your pricing is competitive. It makes sense comparing it to your competitors, as well as the cost of goods. Get some estimates on the shipping prices so you're sure that you have enough profit. And of course, we also have a video here on the channel talking about profits, the minimum that you should consider. You should definitely think about having a healthy margin after everything, after advertising and so on. So I would say between 20 and 30%, that's a good place to start, but obviously the more, the better. And once you've confirmed your profits, then you can start production. Now, you're also going to start your keyword research a little bit before as well. So I mentioned before, you want to create a dummy listing with a good title. It's okay if you edit it later, but try to already use highly searched keywords and optimize your title as much as possible. So honestly, it only takes 1 day to go through and create your master list. There's so many strategies that we teach not only here, but also in our course. And start your keyword research. Then we're going to start production. While your product is under production, you're going to be optimizing your listing. You already created the dummy listing with your UPC code. Now you're gonna go back and really start optimizing with your keywords. And as soon as possible, you wanna get started on getting images, videos, A+ content, and so on, because that can take quite a while. And you want to make sure that is good to go by the time you're going to launch the product. Now, again, this can vary a lot. My recommendation would be to get a final sample before you even start production, to actually send it to the photographer and videographer and start on your images. But if you can, if it needs to be from the production, a lot of times depending on the product, it has to be like that. You need to hurry up and already have everything set up with the agency so they're ready to go as soon as they get that product. So images, videos, and so on, that can go into the shipping time as well. But before you ship, going back to product sourcing, you need to have an inspection. So do not skip this step. It only takes 1 day for the agent to go and make sure everything is okay, that there are no issues. Now, it may take a few days if there are issues that need to be resolved. But before you even ship your products, there's something else you need to do, which is to get the barcode stickers. So you already created your listing. You can already print those F and SKU labels. Or if you are able to use a manufacturer barcode, you can do the UPC barcode, but that's a topic for another video. But go ahead and get your stickers as well as your shipping plan. A lot of people get confused. They don't really realize that they need to create a shipping plan on Amazon before they ship the products to Amazon. Amazon will only accept goods that have a shipping plan created and that have the Amazon box labels on them. So you can't skip this step. There's no way for you to find out where you need to ship it to without doing a shipping plan. So you can do that. You can do that even before the inspection. Then you have your inspection and then it's ready to ship. Now, I estimated around 30 days. That's usually an average for sea shipping, but it could be much faster if you're shipping through air or air express or even fast sea. And then as it's shipping, you want to make sure you nailed your copywriting. So all of everything on the description, all of the copywriting, even for your product launch that you're going to be doing, you want to have everything prepared. And then on product sourcing, you need to account for about 5 days for Amazon to receive your units. Now, if you're already an experienced seller, if you heard stories, this can absolutely vary. We've had instances where as soon as it was delivered, they started scanning and our product was able to go active and live. And we have instances where it has taken a month for them to scan everything. So unfortunately, we're at the mercy of Amazon here, but in general, about 5 days. And one thing that you cannot forget is that the entire time since you create your dummy listing up until you have available inventory on Amazon, your listing should be inactive and you should have a start day set up for the future. Make sure you are very purposeful when you are activating your listing. You don't want your products to check in on Amazon and then your listing go active because of the honeymoon period that you get. Amazon actually gives you a little bit of a boost when your product is first active. So be sure to do that manually and activate your listing manually after your units have been scanned in and they're available for sale. So they are for Amazon Prime members and so on. All right, so you have your units ready. Now it's time to start product launch. So take a day to enroll your product in Vine reviews, create coupon codes, put all of your review strategies in place, and take about a day as well to create all of the PPC campaigns, all of the Amazon advertisement campaigns for your product. Now, as you can see here, it says 1 + 60 days for the PPC campaigns. What that means is it will take you about a day to create all of the campaigns, but it will take about 60 days on average for you to start being profitable because your product is going to be brand new. You're not going to have a lot of reviews once you turn on your PPC campaigns. So it's still going to take a while for customers to choose your product over competitors. So in general, about 60 days is when you're gonna start seeing profitable campaigns. So don't worry too much about losing money in the beginning. You should account for that because you want to push it to rank organically on a lot of different keywords. And also part of your product launch strategy should be your pricing strategy. So already have that in place beforehand, and then make sure that during that product launch, you are very aware of what should be your price based on the reviews that you have, based on your sales velocity and everything. This is very particular to each product. So pricing strategy. And constantly reevaluate your pricing. Let's say you were thinking that your price was going to be very high because you're so much better than the competitors, but it's taking a little bit longer for you to get that sales velocity. So keep reevaluating that, making sure, of course, that you have a good profit margin in the long run. Again, it's going to take a little bit of time for you to actually turn profitable. Then you can start thinking about reordering your products. Yes, you're gonna have to reorder your next batch of products during your product launch, and you most likely will not even be paid yet from Amazon from your first sales. So that's something very important to make sure that you know. Before you start selling on Amazon, make sure that you have enough budget for your first 2 orders for sourcing and so on, because you're gonna need to place that order before you even get paid. Otherwise, you run the risk of selling out. It's probably the worst thing that it can happen during a product launch. It's gonna be a waste of money. You're gonna lose rank, especially if you stay out of stock too long. It's going to mess with the algorithm in the back end of your product, and it could affect the success of your product. So while you're doing your pricing strategy, you're reevaluating the pricing, you can go ahead and reorder. Obviously, ship, but again, before you ship, you need to create that shipping plan and so on. So the timeline continues, kind of like a cycle. But as you can see, this is very important for you to understand, because it's not a clean line where you do product research, then you start this, then you start this, then you start that. Now, you could do that, but that's going to take you a lot longer. So if you sum up all of the days, the estimated days here, it comes to about 4 months by the time you start your product research to the time that you start selling your product launch. And again, this is an estimate. It could be faster for you, it could be longer, but that is a good place to start for you to have an idea. I mean, you're going to be investing money, and you need to know how long pretty much it would take for you to start seeing some money back. So that's very important. And also very important is that if this is a little bit overwhelmed for you, yes, you may know where to start, but you don't really know along the way exactly what to do. Don't worry, because we actually have the Amazing Escape Plan course on Udemy, a super affordable course that you can purchase that is going to cover everything from beginning to end and so on. As I said, like as you can see here in the timeline, it starts with product research. It goes through every single one of these phases, and there's a lot of tips to scaling your business, getting more out of it, some logistics things or seller support. There's so much on our course. You're going to be covered. So the link to our course will be in the description below. And of course, be sure to subscribe to the channel, because we're always posting here also many tips and tricks that cover this entire timeline and more. A lot of strategies for online income, for you to expand your Amazon business into other platforms like Walmart, Etsy, and other platforms as well. So I hope that you found this video helpful. Again, the link for you to download this entire graphics timeline will be in the description below as well. And if you have any questions, any input, anything, be sure to leave those in the comments below. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye!